The breakthrough against breast cancer is for real. A major study shows that a drug used to treat the disease can actually help prevent breast cancer. Firearms under fire. President Clinton takes aim at imported assault rifles. Unfair airfares. The government moves against big airlines that crush their competition and then raise prices. And Eye on America. Tonight, questions about a law enforcement agency. Did it have so much power it wrecked this woman's life?
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. Federal health officials today confirmed a huge advance in the battle against breast cancer. For the first time ever, the National Cancer Institute says there is a drug that can actually prevent breast cancer in women at high risk. CBS's John Roberts has the latest on the benefits and side effects of tamoxifen.
It was an announcement women around the world have been waiting for.
This is the first time in history that we have evidence that breast cancer can not only be treated but also prevented.
The drug, called tamoxifen, has already been used for 20 years to treat breast cancer. The results of the 5-year study released today show that for women at high risk for breast cancer, those with a strong family history, abnormal breast tissue, or women above age 60, tamoxifen can actually reduce the risk of developing it by almost half. Oncologist Dr. Larry Norton says this will have real effects.
We're talking about tens of thousands of women who would benefit every year from use of this drug.
Tamoxifen works by blocking the effects of the female hormone estrogen. As a woman ages, estrogen can cause breast tissue to change and become cancerous. Tamoxifen ties up the hormone receptors on breast cells so estrogen can't get in.
Less of a political.
Penny Foley took tamoxifen in the study at UCLA's Johnson Cancer Center. She was a perfect candidate. Both her mother and grandmother died from breast cancer.
I'm looking at the idea that my risk of developing breast cancer has just been reduced by 45%, and that's cool.
Tamoxifen comes with a downside. The study found it doubled the risk for blood clots in the legs and lungs, and more than doubled the risk for uterine cancer. But uterine cancer is easier to detect and treat than breast cancer. That's why Ellen Carrier, who got a dummy pill during the study, now wants tamoxifen despite the risks.
For me, to be able to take the tamoxifen to prevent breast cancer is of much more importance to me.
Even this good news about tamoxifen may soon be eclipsed. Early trials of a brand new estrogen blocker, raloxifene, have shown it reduced the risk of breast cancer by 77% without a risk for uterine cancer. All in all, Dan, a very exciting day in breast cancer research.
Thanks, Sean. Now, joining us now for context and perspective on this big leap forward in breast cancer research, Dr. Bernadine Healy of Ohio State University, our CBS News medical consultant and former head of the National Institutes of Health. So, Dr. Healy, who should take tamoxifen?
Dan, it's important to stress that only healthy women who are at high risk for developing breast cancer, and that can be calculated by looking at a woman's own personal history. But the important point to make here is that today women have a choice to use tamoxifen to prevent breast cancer that they didn't have yesterday.
For an eligible woman, how long is it recommended that she take tamoxifen, and how long does it last?
In this study, the plans were for 5 years. We found an answer at 3.5 years. But from other studies with tamoxifen in women with breast cancer, it appears that after about 5 years, the benefit decreases and the risk starts to increase.
And does or does not this study suggest that other cancers can be prevented by drugs?
This study is really the beginning of an expanding era in using powerful medications to prevent, not just to treat, any kind of cancer. In fact, Dan, there's an interesting study going on as we speak, looking at 18,000 men who are at high risk for prostate cancer. The drug that they're using is somewhat similar in that it interferes with the effect of testosterone on the prostate, and we should have the answers early into the next century. The key issue here is that both men and women can be benefited by a strategy of chemo prevention of cancer, not just treating cancer once it comes.
Dr. Healy, thank you. There is news about a couple of other threats to the health of Americans. The Justice Department is out with a new study of the impact of alcohol on crime. This study finds that alcohol abuse is a factor in 37% of the violent crimes committed in this country. President Clinton focused today on the link between guns and crime. He announced he is making permanent his ban on imported semi-automatic assault weapons. CBS News White House correspondent Scott Pelley reports on what the ban will and will not do. Scott?
Dan, the assault gun ban bans the importation of 58 kinds of military-style weapons. Now, that sounds impressive, but the ban actually has a loophole in it that's big enough to drive a tank through. Still, that did not stop the White House from rolling it out today in a big tough-on-crime ceremony.
The president was flanked by police officers who were called in just to give Mr. Clinton a backdrop in blue. The ban has been in the works for months, but the White House wanted to make a statement on gun violence in light of the Jonesboro murders, even though the guns banned today were not used in those killings.
You don't need an Uzi to go deer hunting. You don't need an AK-47 to go skeet shooting. These are military weapons, weapons of war. They were never meant for a day in the country, and they are certainly not meant for a night on the streets. Today, we are working to make sure they stay off our streets.
But at best, the ban will keep only foreign-made assault rifles off the streets. The same kind of weapons made in the USA are still legal. A ban on domestic manufacture would take an act of Congress.
And the chances of that are so remote, the administration is not even suggesting it. That leaves the loophole. Foreign guns made up a large part of the market, but now with the imports banned, U.S. companies are free to fill the orders. Dan?
Scott Pelley at the White House. So the president's action today will not spell the end of assault weapons, which, as CBS's Jim Stewart reports, are growing ever more popular and increasing the firepower among criminals.
Pick almost any scene from a slaughter in recent U.S. history, and at the core of it, you'll find a madman and his assault weapon. Patrick Purdy had one when he stood outside this Stockton, California schoolyard in 1989 and picked off 5 children before ending his own life.
This is the weapon as it was found. It is a Chinese-made AK-47.
James Huberty had such a gun when he went hunting for humans at a fast food restaurant and ended up killing 20 people. 2 Hollywood, California bank robbers used theirs to outgun an entire police force. And Joe Westbecker had one when he walked into this Louisville workplace after an argument and turned it into a killing field.
Wait, I said, what's going on? He said, I told him I'd be back. I ain't talking about it.
There's 1.5 million such weapons out there now, and for sheer firepower, portability, and cost, the military-style assault gun has become the weapon of choice, not only among the lone crazies out there, but among organized crime groups as well. They like the large capacity magazines, which are now illegal to manufacture but still easy enough to find because 24 million old ones are in circulation. And they like what a few stolen military parts can do for such weapons when they turn your average semi-automatic assault gun into its full-blown military cousin. And in the blink of an eye, turn an otherwise ordinary crime scene into a virtual war zone. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
Still to come on the CBS Evening News, the Dow closes over 9,000, adding up the dollar costs of El Nino. Children's doctors on spanking children. And Eye on America. This woman's ordeal could happen to you, and only because somebody thinks you look suspicious.
In clinical studies, a leading pain medicine significantly reduced minor arthritis pain, increasing range of motion and flexibility. The medicine in these studies wasn't a pill. It was Bengay. And now, when you use ultra-strength Bengay for your aches and pains, you get the heating power of 3 pain relievers. Ultra-strength Bengay. Medicine for your moving parts.
And now we're giving you more for your moving parts. A bigger Bengay with 33% more free.
You exercise?
Absolutely.
You eat right?
Every day.
With your high cholesterol, aren't you afraid of a first heart attack?
Why do you think I eat right and exercise?
Still, that might not be enough to prevent a first heart attack.
That won't happen to me. Won't happen to me.
But it can, because if you have high cholesterol, you could be at risk of a first heart attack.
Well, what else can I do?
Talk to your doctor about Provocol now. Lots of medications can lower cholesterol, but with Provocol, there's more. Provocol lowers cholesterol and is the only drug of its kind proven to help prevent a first heart attack.
So it can really help control my risk?
Yes, in fact, Provocol can reduce the risk up to 1/3. Provocol, when used together with diet and exercise, has been prescribed for millions. It's not for people with liver problems or women who are pregnant or nursing or may become pregnant. Your doctor may do blood tests to check your liver function because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Provocol. For information, ask your doctor or call us. Provocol, proven to reduce the risk of a first heart attack up to 1/3.
On the CBS Worldwide Market Watch, a new millennium, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed above 9,000 for the first time ever. The Dow is now up more than 14% this year alone. Stocks got a boost from the biggest merger in history, Citicorp and Travelers Group creating a financial services mammoth. The government is considering a new antitrust case against Microsoft. This one involves Windows 98, due out next month. And they're testing it in Pittsburgh. Sponsored phone calls. Agree to listen to a brief commercial and get 2 minutes of long distance free. The Japanese economy is one of the biggest dominoes in the international financial world. Today, a promise of bold action to keep it from falling. CBS's Barry Peterson reports the pledge came from a man critics call the Herbert Hoover of Japan.
Japan's prime minister summoned his top advisors and hinted today he's edging toward a tax cut, something President Clinton strongly urged last week. It would be part of a proposed $118 billion package to stimulate Japan's sinking economy. Talk of a tax cut seemed to work. The stock market made a modest recovery after last week's sharp losses. The economy is in its worst shape since World War II. Unemployment at record highs amid a string of high-profile bankruptcies at major financial houses like the collapse of Yamaichi Securities, with more failures expected in the weeks ahead. No wonder the pressure for tax cuts is coming from an unusual quarter, Japan's business elite. Just listen to what the chairman of Sony said. Japan's economy, he warned, is on the verge of collapse. And today, from the head of the Bank of Japan, an insider if there ever was one, warnings that without a tax cut, Japan faces, quote, dark prospects. But whatever the prime minister does, he better do it soon. His political prospects are fading. A new poll out tonight shows an amazing 80% no longer have faith in his economic policies. There are a lot of opinions about how to fix Japan's economy. One seems almost unanimous that tax cuts could do the trick. The fear is if tax cuts don't work, even the runaway bulls on Wall Street may come down with a case of Asian economic flu. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Tokyo.
Next up here on CBS, the government cracks down on airline price wars that take you for an expensive ride.
Something's gotten into Sunsweet prunes. Something rather orange. Delicious orange essence from Sunsweet. It's prunes with a twist.
I understand you got a bug problem.
Daddy, meet my friends. Dad, don't call. Lucy IRS.
Sir, is this your son?
Hey, is this your dog?
Your life is full of worries. Your car shouldn't be. Get a Chevy Lumina. It's reliable, comfortable, and it's one less thing to worry about. Now you can get 1.9% APR GMAC financing or $750 cash back on a Chevy Lumina.
Misty takes good care of her puppies, doesn't she, Mommy?
Yes, she does. And we take good care of Misty. Like when we protect her with Frontline.
Frontline?
See, one spot right here gets rid of fleas and ticks that can make us sick.
Does it hurt?
No, Frontline's really gentle. You know how I know?
'Cause you're a vegetarian.
Veterinarian.
Frontline, the flea and tick protection veterinarians trust most.
This little girl does something amazing. She may eat twice her weight in sugar this year. Good thing there's Cheerios, with only 1 little gram of sugar a bowl. And since kids love it, it's a great place to help cut down their sugar.
The one and only Cheerios.
Coming up on News Channel 5 at 6, did a student at Middle Tennessee State University make pornographic movies in his dorm room, or is it politics as usual? The story at 6.
There are new figures out tonight on El Niño's economic impact during the past winter. The Federal Emergency Management Agency says El Niño disasters cost $289 million, from floods in California to tornadoes in Florida. But many suspect FEMA is lowballing it. California says damage topped $500 million there alone. El Niño did cut energy demands and costs nationwide, ranging from 16% less energy consumed in the Southwest to 30% less in the mid-Atlantic states. President Clinton's Energy Secretary, Federico Pena, said today that he is resigning. Pena says he wants to spend more time with his family. He was the highest-ranking Hispanic on the Clinton team. He served earlier as Transportation Secretary, and while he had many accomplishments there, he took heavy criticism at the time over air safety. There's new turbulence in the deregulated airline industry over cutthroat pricing practices that wind up costing the flying public more in the long run. The government today threatened to clip the wings of airlines that don't straighten up and fly right. CBS's Bob Orr has the story.
If you're a passenger flying between Des Moines and Chicago, you already know what predatory pricing can do. In 1995, No Frills Vanguard Airlines introduced $200 round-trip fares to Chicago. But when United Airlines matched those fares, Vanguard was driven from Des Moines. When the competition left, United's prices quickly doubled. The current round-trip fare, $763.
As a private citizen, I am offended. As a businessman, I feel like I am being taken advantage of.
Vanguard President Rocky Spain says United lost money on purpose to force his airline from the market. And he warns all low-cost carriers are at risk.
Going the way of the dinosaurs if we're not careful here, and the American public will lose if that occurs.
It's not just Vanguard and Des Moines. Across America, low-cost airlines like AirTran, Reno, and Kiwi have all complained that major carriers have tried to squeeze them out of business. Today, the Department of Transportation threatened to fine big airlines for predatory pricing.
This policy is not intended to ensure the success of any startup carrier, but rather to ensure a level playing field.
But major airlines say they should be free to set prices in an open market.
The marketplace is much better at determining the ratio between supply and demand than any kind of government agency.
Meanwhile, back in Des Moines, this nameless plane may provide an early test for the new policy. Bill Rathard and local businessmen are backing a new carrier, Access Air.
We think there's plenty of room to come in and offer more reasonable fares in this market.
Hoping to survive where Vanguard could not. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
In the Arabian desert today, a sea of people. More than 2 million Muslims traveled to Mecca this year, and today they walked in 100-degree heat in the desert to pray at the mountain where the Prophet Muhammad delivered his final sermon. It's part of the annual pilgrimage that all Muslims are called on to make at least once in a lifetime. And from the dry African plains today, a cry for help. UN officials say millions of people in South Sudan are facing possible starvation in the next few weeks unless more aid arrives soon. The African famine is one of the worst in history because of El Niño-related storms and drought, on top of the long-running war, Muslims against Christians in Sudan. Up next, Eye on America.
The CBS Evening News and tonight's Eye on America segment are sponsored by Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
With all the information about pain relievers, you may not know what to choose. Your doctor knows. The pain reliever they trust most is Tylenol. In fact, doctors have recommended Tylenol even more this year than last year. Tylenol combines the strength and the safety that's unsurpassed for everyday pain. For over 20 years, it's been the first choice of doctors and hospitals. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
When are Easter eggs too good to hide?
When they're cookies!
Pillsbury Sugar Cookies. Just slice, shape, and bake. They're the eggs that are fun to decorate and eat.
Well, they're excellent. Oh, sorry.
I admit it. I don't like to take risks. That's why a Merrill Lynch Protected Growth investment is right for my IRA. In effect, I'm investing in the stock market, but I get the earning potential of a rising market without risking all my principal, even if stocks decline dramatically. My Merrill Lynch financial consultant recommended Protected Growth for my retirement because he knows I like to play it safe. With my money, that is.
see coffee. At Sprint, we see data. Data from the field that works to project the future and allows access to information that helps people work together to achieve results on a global scale. A rich, robust blend of data that business relies on every day. Because business runs on data, and data runs on Sprint.
Pain keeping you awake? Now the effervescent power of new Alka-Seltzer PM gives you complete relief. Alka-Seltzer Speed plus a gentle sleep aid. The 100% solution to nighttime pain. New Alka-Seltzer PM. Sleep well.
It's revered as Christ's last garment. For millions, it's a matter of faith. Now, a new revelation. Is the Shroud of Turin the real thing? Public Eye, Tuesday.
Tonight's Eye on America is a hard news investigation into a real-life horror story. It's about a woman who became an innocent victim of the U.S. government's ongoing battle trying to keep drugs out of the country. As you watch this report from CBS's Anthony Mason, keep in mind that what happened to her could happen to you.
Every time I come to this airport, I am completely afraid.
It was 4 years ago. Amanda Baritica was returning from a trip to India at the invitation of some Catholic priests.
I stay in convents, yes, all through India.
Then, as she was transiting through San Francisco Airport on her way home to New York, a customs inspector asked Amanda, an American citizen of 20 years, for her passport.
And she said, were you born in Colombia? And I said, yes.
And so began a harrowing 23-hour ordeal.
Then she says, I need to do a strip search. I said, but why? I was so scared. I started shaking. I started crying. I was so horrified.
What made this 54-year-old social worker suddenly a target? According to the inspector's report, she was a woman traveling alone wearing bulky clothes. And under customs guidelines, mere suspicion is all that's needed to pull you aside. Joe O'Gorman is with U.S. Customs.
Mere suspicion, what's that?
Little more than the fact that you've crossed the border.
By that category, isn't almost every traveler merely suspicious?
Every traveler is, for that purpose.
I have to look inside here, okay? I have to see what this is.
No other law enforcement agents in the country have the power these customs inspectors have. They can detain you. They can strip search you. They don't need probable cause, and they don't need your consent. It doesn't matter what passport you hold. You have no right to consult a lawyer. You can't even make a phone call.
And then she says, bend over.
The strip search yielded nothing, so Amanda was taken to the airport clinic to be x-rayed. What were they looking for? Well, when a drug runner swallows packets, his stomach looks like this.
Well, these are the x-rays taken of Miss Baritica.
But Ms. Baritica's stomach, says her attorney Greg Fox, was full of food.
There's one little shadow.
That indecipherable shadow was enough. Under armed escort, Amanda was taken to this hospital, x-rayed again, and ordered to ingest this powerful laxative.
It was very painful.
Over the next 9 hours, she ran to the toilet 28 times.
Every time I went to the bathroom, those inspectors were there just watching. I was so embarrassed. It was so humiliating.
Did they find anything?
They never found anything. Every time they checked the stool, they said negative, negative.
After almost 24 hours, there was no more of Amanda Baritica to search. Customs finally released her.
Did anybody say, sorry, we made a mistake?
No.
Are you in transit?
Customs would not discuss the specifics of Amanda Baritica's case, but across the country, on average, officials said they perform only 3 strip searches a day.
With the impact that introduction of drugs into this country has on our society, I believe it is a price that we have to be willing to pay.
The price in Amanda Baritica's case was $450,000. That's what a jury awarded her in February, convinced her constitutional rights had been violated.
The government does not have the right to destroy lives. They destroy mine.
Amanda Baritica says she was so traumatized she had to give up her old job. She works as a crossing guard now. She just wishes she had this kind of protection the day she crossed the U.S. border.
Okay, guys.
In Port Chester, New York, I'm Anthony Mason for Eye on America.
More than 50,000 of the nation's pediatricians weighed in tonight on the issue of spanking. They say ordering children to take time out is a more effective alternative when children act up. Spanking, the pediatricians say, teaches children aggression.
After his heart attack, Ed's doctor told him to exercise and take aspirin regularly. So he takes genuine Bayer aspirin to help prevent a second heart attack. But then there are those days when Ed's muscles ache and Ed could use extra strength Bayer. Nothing is stronger for pain. If you're on an aspirin regimen, you don't need Tylenol because doctors say you can take more aspirin for pain.
How are your legs?
Great. Race you home.
Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more.
What you're seeing is amazing because this tire is flat. That's right. Moments ago, it was punctured and lost all air pressure. It's the new Goodyear AquaSteel Run Flat. If it weren't, this is what could have happened. Instead, the new AquaSteel drives you up to 50 miles at 55 miles per hour to safety. New AquaSteel. Only from Goodyear.
It's the bargain of the month from Coast to Coast, Service Star and True Value. And this month you'll save big bucks on...
Go, 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 go! This is not a drill. Move it. Go, over there. You, come on, let's go.
Green Thumb Metal Rake, Green Thumb Weed and Feed, Cordova Work Gloves, and Green Thumb Lawn Food. Bargain of the month. It's a very, very big deal.
Nice hustle, kids. You too, honey.
Breyers presents a spectacular ice cream dessert called Viennetta. Viennetta has crispy, chocolatey layers, surrounded by rich, velvety ice cream. But there could be one small problem. One slice is never enough. Make sure you have enough Viennetta for the Easter holiday from Breyers.
Our beginning story here on CBS Tonight focused on solving some of the deep mysteries of breast cancer. We leave you tonight with new research that may solve a mystery on Mars. For a generation, astronomers, UFO, and ET buffs have puzzled over the face on Mars. NASA said all along this 1976 Viking mission photo is just light and shadow playing on rocks and on people's imaginations. Fast forward now to today. This is the face on Mars unmasked in pictures taken by the new Mars Global Surveyor. This enigma turns out to be just another Martian chronicle of rocks and red dust. And that's part of our galaxy tonight. I'll be back later with People of the Century, the first of 6 specials from CBS News and Time magazine celebrating the 20th century. Tonight, the 20 most influential leaders of the century. People of the Century. 10 o'clock, 9 Central, here on the CBS television network. Till then, Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. Have a good evening.
Tomorrow, El Nino and the hurricanes of '98. Last year, El Nino probably prevented many storms. What's next? We'll have the latest hurricane forecast on the CBS Evening News.
Experience CBS News.
A sex and